Fellow countrymen, at this second appearing to take the oath of the presidential office, there is less occasion for an extended address than there was at the first. Then a statement, somewhat in detail, of a course to be pursued seemed fitting and proper. Now, at the expiration of 4 years, during which public declarations have been constantly called forth on every point and phase of the great contest which still absorbs the attention and engrosses the energies of the nation, little that is new could be presented. The progress of our arms, upon which all else chiefly depends, is well known to the public as to myself, and it is, I trust, reasonably satisfactory and encouraging to all, with high hope to the future, no prediction in regard to its venture. On the occasion corresponding to this 4 years ago, all thoughts were anxiously directed to an impending civil war. All dreaded it, all sought to avert it, while the inaugural address was being delivered from this space. Devoted altogether to saving the Union without war, insurgent agents were in the city seeking to destroy it without war, seeking to dissolve the Union and divide effects by negotiation. Both parties depreciated war, but one of them would make war rather than let the nation survive, and the other would accept war rather than let it perish, and the war came.
2 hours later.
Slaves, not distributed generally over the Union, but localized in the southern half of it. These slaves constituted a peculiar and powerful interest. All knew that this interest was somehow the cause of the war. To strengthen, perpetuate, and extend this interest was the object for which the insurgents would rend the Union, even by war, while the government claimed no right to do more than to restrict the territorial enlargement of it. Neither party expected for the war the magnitude or the duration which it has already attained. Neither anticipated that the cause of the conflict might cease with, or even before the conflict itself should cease. Each looked for an easier triumph, and a result less fundamental and astounding. Both read the same Bible, and prayed to the same God, and each evokes his and against the other. It may seem strange that any men should dare to ask just God's assistance in winging their bread from the sweat of other men's faces, but let us judge not that we be judged. The prayers of both could not be answered.
1 eternity later.
The Almighty has his own purposes. Woe unto the word because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come. But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. If we shall suppose that American slavery is one of those offenses which in the province of God must needs become, by which having continued he now wills to remove, and that he gives to both North and South this terrible war, as the woe due to those whom the offense came, we shall discern therein any departure from those divine attributes which the believers in a living God always ascribe to him. Fondly do we hope, fervently do we pray. This mighty scourge of war may speedily pass away. Any questions?
President Lincoln, what is your plan with the rejoining of the southern states?
Several years ago, I attempted to pass the 10% plan. This plan pardoned all Southerners except high-ranking Confederate government leaders and required that for a state to rejoin the Union, only 10% of the state's population had to take an oath of allegiance to the United States. The third part of this deal was that once 10% of the populations took oaths and the states became a part of the Union again, then the restored Confederate states would have to draft a new state constitution. All this was in hopes of reuniting the North and South just like it was before the Civil War began. Though this idea was quickly vetoed by my fellow Congress members, Vice President Johnson and myself are still working to get it passed.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!